Hi, it's me, Lucia Gabriela at Lucia Gabriela TB, and also founder of Nuna Holistic Retreat Center for Emotional and Sexual Healing. And today I'm so passionate to share with you one of my favorite therapies for emotional healing, which is the integrated body, the Amarin. And before I share with you a little bit of the story about the Amarin and what is it for and who is it for and what actually I do in this room with my client behind the curtains, and when I close the door, everybody always wonders like what I can do and why people screaming and yelling and crying and cursing. And I'm really passionate about this therapy because it has been in my path for a decade in the aspect of healing emotional trauma. So back like decades ago, I'm not going to tell you how many because I'm not going to tell you my age, I developed cancer. So with my doctor, who is also my mentor, we were able to achieve the healing of my body, and even until now, having a beautiful, dynamic body where it's full of vitality and bliss and joy and it's healthy without the uses of conventional medicine like chemotherapy or radiation or any of that. So in my path, decades ago, we were discovering that what has caused my cancer, this is my story, this is very personal to me. So what had caused my cancer, it was the emotional toxicity that I had been involved with and I experienced in my childhood. So I grew up in a very toxic emotional home. And if you have been following me for a while, you know my story. And the first time that you listen to me, I'm going to invite you to go to my website, luciagabriela.com, to learn more in detail about it. But to make your story short, because we're going to cover so much in this video about integrated body, the Amarin, and the aspect of emotional healing and sexual healing. So I discovered that why I was really, I was having this illness in me, within me, the cancer, it was because I was emotional depleted. I was toxic. I was suffering a lot internally. And I was holding onto a lot of like resentment and anger and frustration. And when the cancer developed and we were going through therapy with my doctor, I also was experiencing emotional therapy because my doctor's and mentor is a holistic integrative homeopathic doctor, and he has so many other amazing certifications and studies he had done in the Eastern Wall and China and Japan and all that beautiful places and philosophies that he has been able to share with me. So and part of my journey has been healing emotionally. And for a very long time, since a very young age, I have been very conscious about my body and my emotions and also what I think. As you know, like wherever you focus, your energy goes, and whatever you think, you also create, right? Like if you've been following the law of attraction, you're going to resonate with this. So in this journey, I had been mentored by my doctor. We had been doing a lot of work with my emotions, and we were able to achieve these beautiful, long decades of being healthy, vital. I really haven't been able to go to any doctor for anything. Like I'm pretty much, I would say myself, healthy and blissful. So doing all this amazing work with my doctor, and living a very conscious life, like after the cancer, becoming more aware of my emotions, my feelings, and loving myself even more. I went into this path of like, I want to explore more therapies. I want to see like what actually is out there. So I give myself permission to go and study more about integrative nutrition, health and wellness, more esotericism, even tantra practices. And I was even doing like a lot of mystical stuff and energy, moving energy, love attraction. Even as a massage therapist, I was diving myself into different modalities for massage. But one of the things I love about massage, and years ago, is that one of my mentors actually shared with us that our body, is connected. And we're like, duh, yes, it's all connected. In Eastern medicine, in shamanism, we know that mind, body, heart, soul, and everything is connected. So we are whole, right? So we have to treat ourselves as whole, right? That's integrated medicine is about. So you just don't treat the person like one thing or like one department, but you treat the person as a whole. So she was explaining more that actually the body had this fascinating ability to start releasing any kind of emotional blockage that you have in your body, which is fascinating because we call it soma, somatic therapy. So your mind and your body are connected, which is like, whoa, this is kind of cool. So every time that we work with clients in massage, sometimes when you're really fully present, and this is usually what I teach to some people that I mentor when it comes to massage, is that when we're really truly present, when we give a massage, we actually are helping the person to be fully present with themselves and their body, and the body start healing and releasing emotions. And it's fascinating. Sometimes you can be giving a massage to somebody and they start tickling. And I remember one experience, I was massaging somebody and it started tickling. Is because all of the sudden, they realized that they were holding so much of the laugh for years, and they were not giving themselves permission to laugh. So it was so fascinating that when you get a massage, sometimes you can start feeling emotions and you're just like, what is going on here? It's like, I'm going crazy here, what? So before you even think that you're crazy, you are not. It's your body actually telling you and sharing with you something, giving you information that you're actually releasing something that it had been in your body. So before we go more into the science of this, which is so juicy and delicious, I'm really excited about this, I'm going to share with you that when I was in this process of massage, I also got invited and I started training with Andrew Barnes, who is the creator of Tantric Body Armoring, who was inspired by the work of Wilhelm Reich, that he, in the 1940s, Wilhelm Reich actually expressed it and put it in the light in the clinical scientific community that the body and the mind were connected. Something that we already knew for so many millenniums with all the shamanic practices and Eastern philosophies in medicine, like acupuncture, that we would have even with the chakra system, with the Ayurveda medicine, we kind of knew that we were all integrative and that we were whole. In 1936, this is the definition that Wilhelm Reich actually talks about armoring, when the body is contracted, right? So armoring is the condition that results when energy is bound by muscular contraction and doesn't flow through the body. So let's repeat this again because it's very important just to understand it. That in 1936 already a scientist, Wilhelm Reich, already was sharing with us that contracting our body, anything that makes our body contract, actually block our energy flow, or organ energy, or orgasmic energy, right? In the Eastern world, we already knew this. That anything that create trauma or abuse or anything create our body to contract, we actually are depleting our chi. We are stopping our chi from moving, our ki energy. We are depleting our sexual energy. We're just the energy is not flowing, right? It's getting stuck in there and it's not moving. So in the eyes of science, we were sharing that armoring is the condition that results when energy is bound by muscular contraction and doesn't flow through the body. So now, if energy is not moving, what is actually happening? Right? So, one of the other things I love about the work of Wilhelm Reich is that he also talks about the personas and the characters, right? And he actually have I don't remember clearly how many, but I believe it's between 5 to 7 characters that he talks about the positions of the body. So if somebody has different conditions in the body and they have some emotional, some energy trapped in different part of the body, the skeleton and the structure of the body actually changed. And as a massage therapist, And, many specialists out there that work with the body workers, who go to so many trainings to study like structuring patterns of the body and the muscles of the body. We realize that, like we see that a lot of people, when we start working on some specific part of the body to help them to align, all of a sudden we start hearing about these somatic releases that they have. So one of the simplest examples about this is people who have so much stress, right? They have a lot of tension in the neck, and they have their arms like this all the time, right? Like sometimes the necks feel like so tight, it's like so like a rock, right? Like when you come to massage therapist, like we working on you like, whew. We just like saturating the muscle, right? Like we just squeezing it, we just working it, we just relaxing it. And what does the person experience? Like they're feeling like more release, right? They have that release in the whole body feels better because now the energy is flowing more. So another thing that you can also notice when you get a massage is that when we start massaging your whole body, and especially your feet and your thighs, especially your thighs, a lot of people have issues with the thighs, like moving forward in life, and they have a lot of energy contracted in the thighs. And when you start working on those muscles, it's so beautiful to see like the energy that's flowing, and people are like, oh my god, my toes, I can feel my toes now. Right? And coming back to this work of somatic world, right, like the emotional aspect of it, is that when we actually see a client, we're working on this part of the body, we actually help them to release whatever limiting belief that they have about themselves, about moving forward, about feeling pretty, beautiful, self-esteem, about feeling love, attracting somebody into their life, attracting abundance. So, many therapists unconsciously, they are really helping the clients so much, but just helping to move the energy a lot. So that's why I always recommend people to actually experience massages, because it really will help you to start moving energy, right? To start really going into that. So let's go a little more scientific with this topic. Who loves science? Me! So I'm going to share with you a little bit of it, because it's so fascinating that you can always go into the research and learn more about it yourself. So we understand that we are energy. Science is showing us that we are energy and vibration, right? Not just the law of attraction is telling us that, but we are energy and vibration. Who is excited about that? I am so excited about that, because we are so beyond flesh and just physical stuff. We are so much more that we don't know. I always say that our body is our temple for our inner cosmos and our outer cosmos. So when our temple is not well taken care of, like our temple is like, it's contracted and it's like, it's like tight and depressed, and it's like, oh, like this, like nothing is gonna flow. It's like this energy won't flow. We are expansive, orgasmic being, like Wilhelm Reich talked about, like this orgasmic energy flow through it. So when we are like tight and contracted, nothing will flow. That's why we develop a lot of illnesses too. Many times, the reason why we're talking about this is because we're talking about emotional therapy, emotional somatic therapies. And a lot of the times, our emotions, life circumstances, trauma, abuse, will create us to contract in our body. Like, will give us reason for us to like, I got scared, something happened. It was like, our body got contracted, and we did not get out of there. We literally lock our body, and we did not learn how to unlock our body. So now, one of the greatest examples in the animal world is like animals when they have, especially dogs, right? Like if you see a dog got freaking scared or something, that dog go like shaking all of it, right? Like you see animals shaking the wings, like the birds shaking the wings, like when something happened to them, or like animals actually have this intuition to shake things out. So I'm going to share more about, the shamanic practices that they have been taught for so many centuries, like about releasing trauma. And so now we have all this energy that is here, like it's not flowing, right? Like in something happened for us, right? And I'm saying for us because it's the mindset that we are created of our life, and also that all the great things that we can have experienced something from what had happened in our life. We all have to look for the golden nugget. So let's move that to another video. And let's go back into the aspect of, this information gets stored in the body. Whatever happened, you have a car accident. A lot of people resonate with this when you have a car accident. When you have a car accident, usually not just the muscle will give you pain or your hip will have pain in it, but the emotion that you experience of fear, of anger and anxiety actually got stored somewhere in your body. And many times it doesn't get stored in the area that actually happened. Sometimes it gets stored in different areas. So it is a really fascinating way of looking at our body from a different perspective, because our body is amazing. So I'm always going to invite you to really get back into your body, love your body so much, and learn to understand and listen to your body, what is actually happening. So back to the motion. The motion get stored in our cells, in our muscles. They're changing our body posture. So when everything starts changing, start creating a different patterns. And now we know also in science that this information is passed on to our next generation. So we have epigenetic. The science of epigenetic, which is so fascinating, because now there's studies out there that say that we pass on information to our children and next future generation up to 7 generations. Now there's a study that said up to 12 generations, which is like, whoa, this is more than the Bible say was, right? I believe that the Bible said it was like 3 or 4 generations, but now science is showing us that it could be up to 12 generations. So whatever I do now, I have 12 generations in front of me that maybe they're going to get a hint or a bite of what happened for me in my life, and like my experiences and my traumas or anything or abuses that I have received or allow other people to do to me. So yeah, it's just a fascinating topic. So now that we understand that whatever happened in our body is going to be passed on, we have to be very conscious that we are living time right now that we cannot be ignorant about this. For generations, for centuries, for generations, for millenniums, in Eastern communities, even shamanic communities, they have been sharing the practices for us as human beings to release emotion, to release trauma from our bodies. I remember clearly I have like a Siberia shaman, a mentor, and also my shaman from Ecuador, the mentors too. Since I grew up, like I was a toddler, I was really practicing shamanism. I don't call myself a shaman because I didn't go through the whole protocol of it, but I was around shamanic practices. And usually, like in Ecuador, for example, when you go to the Incas, they come and, if I was scared or something, right, and I created this trauma and I couldn't sleep at night or something like that when I was little, my mom would bring me to these shaman, and they would toss me into the air, and they would blow like alcohol to me, whoo, whoo, and they would go shunga, shunga, shunga. So like it was so interesting to be a kid in my life, because they would go shunga, 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 and it was like so natural to me that I kind of like, it's just fascinating to me that in Western medicine, we have not teach our children and our, parents or even doctor to do like practices that actually get you out, like the stress, get you out of your body. Usually, you naturally do it. I know you naturally do it, because when you are nervous, this goes shaking, right? Like somebody is like taking a test. Don't you do the shaking thing? Like you go like this, your kid in the class and taking notes, and you're like shaking there, because your body's actually telling you it's helping you to relax at some level. So it's still so fascinating. And even like talking and studying with like Siberia shaman, they talk about like in culture, like you can see so many different tribes, right? Like in the Amazon or even in different continent or Australia, the different tribe that you look into, you will find that a lot of time the rituals, right? This is the history of like emotional somatic healing, right? Like the ritual that they do is like they start moving and shaking and they start making noise and sound. And I'm gonna be explaining more about why sound is important when you're doing emotional somatic work, why movement is so important. I'm already sharing that with you, and also why the breathing is so much beneficial and so important in this practice. So yeah, stay tuned because this is a whole workshop for you because it's so fascinating. So stay until then, okay? Don't get bored here because we have so much to cover. But it is so important that I know that this video will help you, and that's my intention, for you to become aware. Also, we're gonna give you some kind of like reasons how to really choose the right practitioner for you, because not everybody who is out there can actually be your fit. Okay, so just stay until the end because we have so much to cover. I know we can do a whole webinar on this, but man, this is needed, so I'm sharing it with you. So let's go back into the aspect of our science. So and we know that there's a study in epigenetic, the Holocaust study, where actually was led in New York Mount Sinai Hospital by Rachel Yehuda, and she shared that the trauma, the experiences that these families had in the Holocaust, it was passed on to generation to the grandchildren and great-grandchildren too. So really fascinating to really pay attention to it. So what else is happening to the body when we experience some emotional or physical or spiritual or psychological, subconscious trauma? The body becomes tense. The body is actually changing, right? So any kind of change that is not normal to the body is actually going to create deformation. So we see that all the time when it comes to illnesses. Like we see in biology that, when something's changing and it's not normal to the body, it's going to create deformation, it's going to create cancer. And it create illnesses. So it's so important to be aware that our energy, the flow of our energy and our body openness is really critical for our well-being and vitality. So we are not living times where we can afford anymore to bottle up our emotions. We have to give ourselves permission to scream and yell and curse in a safe and sacred container. Not to everyone, not everywhere, right? There's time for everything. So if you're frustrated, we invite you to learn how to let go of that. Yelling and cursing and just screaming it out is fine. There's a time and place for everything, right? So one of the things that I love when people come to Integrated Body De-armoring is that maybe for the first time in their life, they gave themselves permission to express their voice. They gave themselves permission to scream it out, to really get in that stage that just release it, what's happening. And one of the things that I like to share is that when we work in this body de-armoring, integrated body de-armoring is, and I like to share this with practitioners, is as a practitioner myself, I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you what, emotions or life experience you should get rid of. I don't say anything like, oh, you're going to have to get rid of your trauma from your childhood or blah, blah, blah. Neither you. Like, you don't go with the mindset of like, oh, I'm just going to try and go to tell my body to release the emotion of what happened 20 years ago, blah, blah, blah. We create this space for the body wisdom to release what the body knows that you must release now. Because there are things in your life that right now, this coordination, this co-creation and conspiring with the universe, with you, whatever you release in, it is actually perfect for the now. Because if you try to push to release things that you may not be ready for, it can be re-traumatic. It can just create more trauma into your life. So really, really important to be aware of this, that when we're doing somatic emotional healing, it's not us, our mind, from a cognitive perspective, to tell the body what to, dismantle, what to shed, or what to let go. It's our body actually is going to show us. The body knows, and the body's going to show us. So what else is happening in the body is that our brain, the wire in our brain, when we experience some kind of emotional trauma, psychological trauma, or physical trauma, or any kind of trauma, our wiring in our brain literally change. So if it's changed, your perspective change, your way of thinking change, because the synapses it's not working. It's like everything that is supposed to be like normal, it become different, and it doesn't wire properly. So that's what when we do integrated body dearmoring or any other type of therapy, when it comes to rewiring the brain, like an aspect of like the mindset, that when you actually also changing your mindset, changing the way that you speak, the way that you address yourself and to others, the words that you use, the energy and the vibration, your body is changing, but also your mind, your brain start rewiring. So this is interesting, like something I learned from one of my mentors too, is that when trauma happened to us, right, for us, when trauma happened, the brain wiring changed. So before trauma, we were able to see things in a different way, with a different lens. But when trauma happened, and especially abuse, you got trauma because of abuse, is like a little more intense, because it's somebody has done it to you, had done it there. It wasn't like having trauma in a car accident. It's a totally different story. But when somebody perpetrates you, like, some emotional sexual trauma with abuse, domestic violence, and things like that, when something happened like that, and our brain wire change, and it's like we get rewired, we kind of start seeing things in a different way. Like maybe we see more fear on it. Like there's these clocks, like it's all fuzzy and all like, sometimes I have clients that they actually see different, they cannot see the colors clearly. Like something, it doesn't look right anymore. So when I have experience with it, we start working with these clients, all of a sudden when they get out, a couple sessions, they're like, whoa, like I see brighter colors now. What is that about? It's like, have you ever seen like a fuzzy, blurry picture? And that's what I used to walk around my whole entire life, like whatever since the trauma happened. And now it's like, because when you have the energy opening up and you give yourself permission to release the emotions and let the body release the emotions that must be released, a lot of things happen. So it's so interesting and so beautiful, all the things that we have available to you when it comes to releasing emotional sexual trauma. So it's really, really fascinating. So who is this therapy for? Integrated body dearmoring is a therapy that it can benefit everyone who has experienced some kind of emotional trauma, physical trauma, sexual trauma, even mindset limitation trauma, right? Any kind of trauma that you have experienced, abuse, people who have gone through cancer, or especially cancer, you had to make sure that you had permission of your doctor, and you had to follow all those regulations first. People who also have allergies, like we have people that we work with allergies and different part of the body that really help them. And one of the biggest ones that we work with is with people that have had sexual dysfunctions, especially males that have erectile dysfunction, and also women who have had experienced lack of orgasm, like they cannot orgasm easily. So the work that we do is, especially integrated body dearmoring, what separates us a little bit from tantric body Dhyana and other Dhyanas out there is that we don't do genital work. So we have a whole philosophy why we don't do it, and the main reason of the philosophy is that why we don't do genital work in our practice itself is because we work in the 90% of preparation for the individual. Because what happens is that when we start working in the outside of the body, it's like you have this egg that has all this, all this stuff in there, all this clay inside, right? Like outside, like this. And you start armoring, like you start taking layers and layers and layers and layers, which creates so now you can go into the core, and a lot of the stuff in the core already had been healed. So one of the reasons why we do preparation, and when the person is ready to do any kind of somatic sexual healing, where it's genital is involved, we recommend it to other people that are trained and practice for that, and they actually have experience with that. So just be conscious that when you watch and you see other people doing body Dhyana, somatic healing, emotional somatic healing, sexual somatic healing with the body itself, it is important for you to become aware that you must be ready for sexual healing, genital healing if it needs to happen. Usually what happens, what we experience is that when we start working on the 90% of this, the 10% already is taken care of naturally. Nothing, we don't have to do much. And the person is opening up so much. If we start working immediately in the, say, you haven't done too much of your inner work, you haven't done any kind of somatic emotional healing or receiving massages or do energy work or Reiki or integrative energy therapy or any kind of even acupuncture or any practices or shamanic practices or anything like that, if you start there, like genital Dhyana or genital massage or anything like that, it can create more trauma because a lot of the memories that will be released will come up, and if you didn't have the cognitive the mindset preparation ready, you can go and fall flat again into the trauma. And I hear that a lot. So this is why I'm gonna give you a warning. So now we're leading you into what it is that you must look into when you're looking for this work. What you should be looking for therapists. I definitely recommend that you look for therapists that has done their own personal work first, that they have really dived into this process themselves. Because how can you teach others if you haven't learned the lesson yourself, or how can you gotta walk the talk. So it's really important that when you interview people, you actually ask them they're actually the personal breakthroughs from this practice. And again, like we shared before, what kind of philosophies they have about what they're doing, because it's important to know, especially in this work, that we're here to hold a space for you to experiencing whatever it is that your body needs to release at the moment of the now. We're not here to tell you what to release, how to release it, or any of that. Your body is so powerful and so wise that we coach you to guide you through, open up that wisdom. We coach you to just let the body release the emotions. So it's really, really important for you to understand where the philosophy is when it comes to that. And also, if you already have done some of this work with somebody or something like that, just pay attention to their language. It's really important, because one of the things that I love to share with my clients and people that I teach this is you got to make sure that we're not imprinting anything in anybody's experience. And what I'm saying imprinting means that sometimes if I'm not in place on alignment when I'm holding a session, whatever that person is experiencing may be triggered to me or something like that, and it will create something within me that I have not managed it or something like that if I am not fully present with it. And then I'm saying things that is not even about the client, but they are my shit. So I'm putting my shit, imprinted in their experience, and then like you start thinking things that it's not even yours. Like it's sometimes the therapy stuff. Like so, you have to be really, really, really aware of imprinting, because a lot of people are very good at imprinting their stuff. Sometimes they want you to, they're trying to sell you more into stuff, and they're trying to put things in there to imprint stuff and words that that are not beneficial for you. So, one of the tools that I love to practice is access consciousness, where you really become very, very profoundly careful with what actually you're saying, how you actually coaching your clients when it comes to this process of releasing emotional and sexual trauma from your body. So what actually is happening now in our sessions, once we close that door in this room, magic starts happening. Like, what is happening there, Lucia? All I hear is people screaming, yelling, laughing, cursing. What the going on? And it's like, okay, people, I'm not killing everyone or anyone. In society, we have been taught that we have to suppress our emotions, that we have to bottle everything up, and that we've been telling you with all this science and all these, Eastern philosophies, our body must feel open and be open for the energy to flow, so we can actually live an orgasmic life and live these vitality that we all desire and we look for, right? Like we go spend thousands of dollars and getting vitamins and supplements and all the beautiful things out there that I know so many great people that actually put their heart and passion into this. But if the person is not conscious that what they're putting into their body actually can get stuck somewhere because of their emotions, if our body's tense, it's compressed, it's like tight, nothing's gonna function. That main reason why I see so many people having, digestion issues. It's not just all the stuff that we eat, but also the stress. Like when we stress, and we have these fears and we have this anger, like all this area right here in this core, it get compressed. Now in a session, what we actually create is we create this space for the person, for our client, to really explore deeply into the body, what is actually happening within themselves, and actually to invite the body to let go of the emotions that it must be released right now. Like we said before, a body wisdom knows better. We don't tell the body what to release. You don't tell the body what to release. The body actually will release it. And what we find fascinating is that when we work in specific areas of the body, and some of the areas that we work on, like very critical, because we see the person posture, we see the person when we actually talk about the session, what had been happening, we can see patterns in the body itself that the body invite us to work in that area. And they're sometimes very intuitive. The body pull us in one part of the body that's like, okay, you need to come here, and we start working on that part. So many people will be wondering, why are we working on the belly? Why are you actually focusing in this area right here? So one of the areas that we love to focus, that is pretty much would say that the first part that we start focusing and start opening more, is because if you have studied massage, in biology itself, this is our core. And usually when our core is tight and compressed, all the other muscles of the body are going to be stretching. And that's why when you're a massage therapist and you work on somebody that has back problem, working a lot in the back, rolling your elbow all over, is actually not going to help us much. A great trained therapist will know that you have to work the abdominals, you have to work the chest, because these are the areas that need to open up first, right? This is the aspect of biology in the massage therapy world. But now when we come to the armoring, these, following some of the principles of shamanism and chakra system and Eastern medicines, this area, even Wilhelm Reich talks about this, like this area right here, it's a lot of power. We know that your power center is right here in that belly. So many times we start working in that core area, because when we start working on that core area, which is your solar plexus and your sacral, and also part of your root chakra, we don't work genitals, but we can work in some areas, like in craniosacral, we work in some areas where we can hold the back of the coccyx, and like right here, and we can hold and we can create presence, and the energy start moving. So I have also met so many amazing therapists in craniosacral that do like sexual healing just with craniosacral, which is fascinating. That's another topic for another day. But right here, when we're working on our core, when we're working in specific areas of the body to open up more, all these energies start moving. And for people who have struggled their whole life with power issues, with feeling that they have lost their voice, and also that they have lost their, the sexuality, the sensuality, and the erotism, and like things like the creativity, and also the stuck with money, we'll find that it's very common, the pattern that this is really stuck. So we help to open up that. And then the body starts moving us to places that it need more openness. So one of the beautiful things that I learned in one of my trainings with Andrew Barnes in Tantric Body Dearmoring is that he, did this intense research with his clients for decades, and like muscles that help you to open up your sexual energy, right? Like all this energy. And when we're talking about the voice, also you're gonna find that we're gonna be working a lot around the muscles of the voice, and it's just so fascinating to see when people start reclaiming their voice. And again, what we're doing here is not about pain in the body. Actually, we're helping the individual to release the emotional pain that is stuck in the body. The limitation, the mindset that is stuck in the body, it's creating pain. Because one of the things that you understand is that sometimes you have soreness in your body and you didn't work it out. You just didn't bump yourself into it. One day you wake up and you're like, hey, I feel this soreness in my shoulders. I don't know if I did anything. My back, my neck, my leg, my feet. Like my feet are cramping and I have this soreness and I haven't done anything to it. Well, your body's telling you something. And like if you have soreness in your life especially, it's like a tiny little gentle touch, like very tiny little gentle touch we usually say from like 1 to 10. We want to be able to be at 7. Sometimes people 7 in the middle, 10 is the worst, more painful. We don't want to go there. We don't want to be people into pain. But gentle is like 1. Some people, we are at like literally a point 1 or 2 for some individuals, and other individuals that 1 or 2 is like 9. And it's like they have so much soreness there that it's like they can literally feel like, oh my God, it's like you have to, and sometimes you just have to go very gentle and work on them. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is not because I'm like training you for you to do this and others, right? You have to really do a lot of training on this and like really immerse yourself into this, but become aware that when you're hiring a therapist, they explain to you all of this. So maybe I'm explaining so much already that you would know a lot, but it's important for you again to ask so many questions when you work with somebody. So when you actually touching this individual, even though it may cause pain, physical pain to them, usually physical pain, one of the beautiful things about physical pain is that it brings you into your body. Your mind goes right there, focus. There's a focus that is like, whoa, for the first time, maybe you focus in your body. And usually that's what pain does. Like pain is like the body telling you, hey, look at here, I'm calling you, you gotta do something about it. And we're like ignoring it. So pain, actually, the stronger the pain is when the body's telling us, you gotta look here. So if you have some pain in your body, please, I invite you to look into it, like to look into yourself, what's actually happening. So when now we go into these displays of like pain and feel sore, it is interesting that our client, even myself, because I do it all the time, even with myself, I keep opening myself to more joy, more abundance, more, vitality, more health, more wellness, more orgasmic energy, right? And expansion. So they get to a point that it may last you like 2 seconds, that physical pain. And all of a sudden, these start unlocking the emotional pain. And, like people that have been with me shooting all these videos for this, they get fascinated to see that I'm sometimes not even touching the person much. Like I'm just literally there, and this person is having this painful release coming out, and then the emotional release, and it's like you can start seeing them scream and screaming loud. So in the eyes of others, whoever's watching this, they may think, oh my God, she's killing this person. She's killing. And actually we're not. Like we actually, just like I said, we're holding space. One of the beautiful things about this work is that when we hold space for the individual to heal itself, remember, I'm not a healer. I don't heal anyone. I just hold space for people to heal themselves and to remember the amazing, powerful being that they are. And the body to awaken into their own wisdom, right? So when we hold the space, the body feels safe. One of the beautiful things about I really love about this is like the body feels safe. When the body feels safe, sacredness, I start doing its magic. And the person they're experiencing, a lot of people say that they go into this trance, right? Like they are in the body, but it's like a different type of trance. Like not some like people talk about trance, like taking ayahuasca or doing other kind of like mushrooms and things like that. And they get like in this trance. And no, this is like a body trance. Like this is like your body, like inviting you to like be here. And people start expressing themselves through sound. Now here we go with like sound. Sound is powerful. Sound, we invite our clients to make sound. We invite them to make the sound that the body is telling them, that the body is doing the sound. So, we find like some people like they're making sound and we can hear where the sound is coming from. And we also are trained to hear if the sound, it comes from a place of, depression that the person is holding, or is actually liberating. So it is very important to keep the person present in their own experience, in their own moment. So I'm sharing all this with you because whenever you go, you're already going to know so much. And whenever you come to me, I'm not going to have to tell you anything. This is the beauty about this video, and I'm being honest to you. So you start working on the sound. And the power of the sound too is that one of my mentors, when it comes to voice, he was sharing with me that it's so natural for us to make sound since we were little babies. How we communicated with our parents, whining, like the first words, right? It may sound funny. Right, I know I'm funny. But with all that, making all the sounds, and we communicated. So sounds communicate. So when we invite our clients to make sound, it's not to make a performance, right? Or we're forcing them to make sound. We just invite, because the sound, what happened is communicating. But at the same time, it's keeping you focused. Again, like we're present, we bring awareness into the body, we're keeping focus in it, we're really fully present. When you're in this room, you're like, there's magic happening here, like there's alchemy happening here. And then with the sound, we create vibration inside of the body. So now we're not just working externally, now we're working internally. So that's our way of working internally into the person's being. Because even if we're doing working right on their belly, right? We're women or men, we're working right on the belly. You are going to start feeling the tension, the pressure from our fingers into the body, and they're going to start feeling it. And now when you start making sound, now you're activating different portals within yourself, and the internal somatic work start happening. That's why the biggest philosophy is that we don't do internal work with our hands, like a genital work, especially for women, internal work in the vagina, the anus, or any other area, if the person is not prepared, because we prepare them already with their own sound, with their own movement, with their own wisdom, and with their own breathing too. So now let's go into this aspect of like we're making sounds, and people start making sound, and naturally you can hear one person is just making a little yeah, and like they're making now, like when you like this. Many people talk about like these movies that are running like in their head, and it's just fascinating, like a lot of things that are coming out, the things that they haven't even thought about, like even myself, like things that I was literally a block and I just put away and I just didn't want to deal with it, that it was supposed to give me a lesson, and I just put it away. I did not deal with it at all, but I was dealing with it in other areas of my life. All of a sudden these movie showed up, and I was like, oh my god, this is just clicking. It's like all these things are happening now. The rewiring it in the brain, like all these, because I'm training myself and my mindset and all that stuff. Now I'm looking at different perspectives. Now I'm taking different actions in my life because I'm like, oh my god, it just clicked. This is what's because of this. And like, it's just so fascinating what happens inside. It's like the breakthroughs that a person experiences when this is happening is priceless. Honestly, it's like, whoa, like I did not believe that this was still in me, and no wonder why I was holding back from experiencing more love, more pleasure, more joy, more sensuality, more sexuality, more ecstasy, more orgasm. So it's like, wow, I did not realize that, right? So it's just so fascinating. So now with the movement, the person starts moving because the energy is moving now. The person is moving, it's like moving the hands, they're moving the legs. Some people like they get tense, and we help them to shake it off, to move more, because that's the only thing that we invite you to make sound, because it helps us to create more vibration within yourself, and the sound is unique. You know what sound to make, and then we actually to shake your body, because it helps you to release, like a little dog, shake it off, like a little horse that, have you ever seen like a horse race? All of a sudden, the horse is like shaking, and like when they get scared, they move everything. So the same thing as human, we have to give ourselves permission to shake it off. And now breathing, like we know that a person who breathes profoundly every day is actually bringing wellness and healing into their body, into their life, because we bring all this oxygen. For me, oxygen and the breathing aspect of it is inviting more abundance into our life, abundance at all levels and all around, because all this oxygen is coming, which is infinite for us. It's like we don't have to pay for it. It's actually free, right? It's like we don't have to work so hard to breathe, right? Like when it comes to oxygen, like we don't have to do nothing like that. So yeah, it's just abundance. So when we breathe and breathe and make sound, move the body, the energy starts moving naturally. So just doing these practices of, tantric practices of breath, sound, of movement, you start moving energy. You start moving your creative energy, your sexual energy, your orgasmic energy, your organ energy, right? All these energies start moving, and they're going and moving to all part of the body. And sometimes people that they have hold back themselves from creating or from accepting their healing abilities with themselves, like they can start feeling a lot of heat on their hands, like the feet. So it's just fascinating to see how the energy moves all over. So yes, it may seem like, this person's going through so much of like releasing that physical pain, that emotional pain. And it's just so beautiful to see when our client actually, you can see it in their faces, in their laugh, in their cry. You can actually see them releasing it. maybe for the first time in their life. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. It's like, so it just made my day more orgasmic than ever. So I really, really invite you to look into the therapy for emotional healing, integrated body de-armoring. I really invite you to start investing in yourself. You know, the body is our temple. The body has so much wisdom. It's great to talk and have cognitive therapy, like talk therapy. It's great to express and rewire, our mindset. It's great to do that, and we do that all the time. And it's great to move the energy, and I do energy work and all that stuff. But let's not forget our body. Our body is a vehicle to exist. Remember this again. Our body is our vehicle to exist. Without our body, we extension of source energy, we will not be here. So our body has so much wisdom and information that we should not take it for granted. So this is what actually happened in our sessions. So giving yourself permission to release whatever emotion is actually holding you back, that your body wisdom is going to show us. This is the beauty of it. It will show us. It will show it to you. And at the end of our session, what usually happens is that when the energy was released, it's like you are in this cosmos, and you just feel like you're part of everything, part of oneness, part of the wholeness. Like there's a silence that I cannot explain it. That is a silence in the room, even for us, that we have video crew in the back, and just watching and witnessing this, holding space and sacredness for our models. They were able to experience that silence, that nobody moved a finger, nobody moved, nobody dropped anything, nobody made a sound, because it was like this, oh my God, connection of all of us in this space. And it's such a beautiful experience. So once we have done the whole body de-armoring, and the person's laying in the mattress, calm and silence, we do the integration work aspect of it. We let the person integrate, because this is important for you to know that when you experience a session, you cannot be rushed outside in 5 minutes. That's it, your session's over. See ya. See you next time. No. When you go through an experience like that, you must spend at least 30 minutes grounding, sleeping, because that's when the integration is going to start happening. And what we do after that is that we give a client a beautiful touch massage, where we actually help them to ground more and bring some roses and some sound healing and some care and some love to it, and just let themselves enjoy. Because now in this process with integrated body de-armoring is that we're not just opening up your body, but now we're also infusing your body with loving thought, with caring sensations. We're also infusing your body with great mindset, with giving yourself permission. Like we usually ask our clients, so let's just invite more and more of what you desire in life. Let's just invite that more into your body. More abundance, more pleasure, more love, more joy, more bliss, and more ecstasy, more erotism, more of everything, more children, if you want to have more children. Like for people, that clients that they can't have kids, sometimes we do this with them, and sometimes it works, right? Like it's just beautiful because you infuse in what it is that you desire in your life. More business, more people to help, more. It's just once your body's open and you start invoking all these amazing things that you give yourself permission to, and we integrate it into your body. So much fun. So this is what we do at Integrated Body, the Amarin. And one of our favorite therapies because, like you can tell, there's so much juiciness in this therapy that you can benefit from or anybody can benefit from. So if you're interested to be part of an experience like this, reach out to us. Go into a website. You can go to luciagabriela.com, and if you are in Sarasota, Florida, where we have a center, you can go to Nuna holisticretreatcenter.com. So we would love to have you here and help you to break free from whatever is holding you back from living the life that you desire and actually reclaiming your voice, reclaiming your power, reclaiming your abundance and all of that you desire. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.